Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Factorio in our 0 to MEGABASE mini-series. In between the episodes I did some more off-camera progress in order to still be able to call this a mini-series. I would like to get to the MEGABASE status in 1 or 2 episodes. Right now, of course, we're really still in the preparation phase because it can only really continue once we get all the different science packs. So I decided to make a science pack on my own. We are crafting some stone bricks here, so this is another smelting setup. Then of course we also need the armor-piercing round magazine right there, and also we needed grenades. So all of these I'm crafting at the moment. I believe not everything can actually go to the stations. Yeah, looks like we're not filling up all the stations just yet, and here there are a whole bunch of belts missing. But that's just because I went a little bit nuts in building new modules. Then another thing we needed, yeah, of course, the bricks, the stone walls right here. We have a tiny little module producing those bricks. I also tapped into another oil deposit right here, and the oil is actually going to a secondary station there. And then right here, I did not set up a train just yet for the stone bricks because, well, we don't really bring them here. But maybe if I bring my Spidertron, we can now wrap this up. There's still lots to build here. But yeah, essentially all this went down to this contraption that you can see here flashing. If we zoom a little bit closer, you can see why it is flashing. We need hundreds and hundreds of speed modules. I think it's going to be worth it in the end, because we will be able to produce an awful lot of military science packs. Now, of course, this is not going to be representative because of all the missing speed modules, but let's check this out. 13 per second, not too bad considering all of this. And then we only have to bring in 2 modules of walls, then 1 grenade and 1 piercing ram magazine. We will have the stone bricks on 1 belt and then the 2 other materials distributed on either side of a belt. We then have to divide this up into 8 modules, feed all of these guys, and then here at the top we will hopefully be successfully extracting the military science packs. Yeah, so from the looks of it, at the moment we're missing an awful lot of transport belts. Of course, that is completely understandable. And you know what? I believe we are always struggling with the belts because, actually we have 100 in here and we have 100 in here. Yeah, I was under the assumption that the belts are being used for the underground belts, but that doesn't seem to be the case, at least not right now. Yeah, actually maybe we are missing the lubricant. At the moment I only have 1 lubricant factory. That would of course make sense, yeah. So we basically have to double up on that. If we're lucky, we can do this right from the map view. All I have to do is something like this, and then we copy this over, put it right there. And then my robots are gonna build this, and obviously it's gonna contribute to whatever amounts of lubricant we can push in there. Seeing that we have way more underground belts than normal belts, I think we're gonna do some underground shenanigans here and regain a couple of belts. This will make things look even cleaner anyway, so no problemo. Well, currently I'm missing 849 speed modules 3. Good luck with that. Fortunately enough, everything is really happening in the background. Okay, looks like this contraption is finished now. What is this train about? Stone bricks? So that's probably the next station to fix. Yeah, really not looking forward to that. So it was a mistake to build multiple modules in a row because I just couldn't keep up with the building process. Also, it is a question whether or not we should utilize the space more efficiently. So for instance, we could get rid of all these speed beacons and instead just place more machines, since we have the space for it. I mean, we can think about things like that when we are starting to optimize. There, that's what I'm talking about. It looks like we successfully get this machine to run now. But yeah, that's basically the status update. I'm gonna make sure that all of these new contraptions are starting to run so that we can finally start producing the military science pack. After that, for today's episode, I figured we wanna get into the production science pack as well as the utility science pack. I would probably like to start with the utility one so we can get more processing units. Oh, actually, I'm already crafting them. Okay, yeah, we will have to do a lot for these, but after that, in the next episode, we should be able to get into rocketry. Like, we want to build a couple of rocket silos, actually probably many, and then we also need to build satellites. It's gonna be crazy. Alright guys, the last several hours I actually tried to revamp the train refueling system and I completely failed. I thought it was nifty to actually set up like a train station here where the trains are being fueled and that's the only place they're being fueled. The problem about this is I cannot really do this because they do skip stations that are disabled, and I cannot disable the refueling station unless I have a dedicated refueling station for each type of train. Another way to implement this would be to connect everything with a circuit network. However, I want to keep things simple, and it just doesn't work as well with the trains having more than 2 stops. So that is something I just wanted to show you that I will have to revert. The way I'm gonna do this is I'm only gonna have a fuel station at each loading point. This way I don't have to resupply all the requester chests here. I only have to do it once per loading station. The only exceptions I'm gonna make is resource gathering. So I'm not gonna have refueling stations here at the resources. I'm gonna put them at the smelting areas. Another thing I took care of is a second load of green circuits, but you can see because the trains now have to queue up as much, they lose so much time that they cannot deliver the products fast enough. However, I did this in the spirit of changing the fuel. I didn't want the fuel all over the place because of the logistic robots, but honestly it did work pretty well. So maybe I shouldn't be afraid to use the logistics robots over a longer distance. Anyways, you can see we are now producing fuel. And we are storing that in this storage chest, which currently has over 1,200 pieces in it. I'm using the heavy oil as well as the petroleum in order to do so. At the moment I only have this requester chest here with the solid fuel, but essentially it makes the trains a little bit faster and it's also gonna last for much longer. So that is actually my next step. I'm gonna dismantle this train station again. It was a nice idea that absolutely did not work the way I anticipated. And then I'm gonna make the switch with having fuel stations with requester chests on each loading station. Okay, finally everything back to normal and it is working like a charm. I should never have changed it, but now we are using the better type of fuel and it seems to be working so far. Yeah, I believe all the requester chests are stocked by now. I decided the next easiest step is going to be to build the utility science packs because we don't need that many advanced circuits. Well, actually for the processing units we will. But still, flying robot frames are going to be fairly easy. We have all those materials except the electric engine unit. And then the low density structure, we already have everything for that. So let's build the electric engine unit first. I think we have a little bit of space here. I'm going to move over there and get the area prepared. So first things first, we need a little bit of underground so we can work properly here. On the top we're gonna have a loading station, but I now have to update this with the new fuel type. We want to add a loading station here, however we will have to update it with the current fuel type. So this is not gonna be coal anymore, but we want to store 3 stacks of solid fuel. And then I'm gonna go ahead, update this blueprint. Looks like we're lacking the logistics robots at the moment. We can build a couple more. Here at the bottom, of course, we want an unloading station. We also have to update this blueprint. Yeah, unloading station. We don't want these guys anymore. Save that blueprint. And now we should be fine. I just love placing blueprints. I'm gonna try to get my usual 12 beacon setup going. Let me see. What did we want to build? Electric engine units. Oh no, we need lubricant for this. Everything else is fairly simple. It has a fairly high crafting time, so I'm just gonna try to share a belt with the electronic circuits and the engine units. We're gonna bring those in like so, and then we can probably use a normal inserter. Let's just go with a stack inserter. Be on the safe side. Maybe to save a little bit on belts, we can just use underground belts. So we are gonna jump all the way to here and there. We're then gonna extract the engine units towards the top and continue to the next one. A little bit of power as usual and a light over there. Now we're gonna copy this over once because the first one is always a little bit different. We're gonna jump over the crafting machine. Now let's see, how far could we take this? All the way to here. This is actually fairly good. We're still saving a bunch of belts. Good. This is going to be the basic structure. Let's see just how many materials we're going to need. Yeah, actually almost nothing. The lubricant is going to be the biggest issue. So we can copy this over as many times as we want. I'm going to get it started right there. And then we're going to copy it over 4 times. Oh, there's not enough space. But it's just a little bit. I'm gonna find another solution for this power pole. Actually, the substation is taking care of it, so I like this much better. And now we can copy this over without the power pole, and we are gonna do that as many times as possible. Get rid of that too. We can do it at least once more. Yeah, I would say 2 more times. And that should be it, more or less. I'm gonna take apart the first 2 stations here on the top, and we're gonna exchange it with a fluid station. We can probably use this setup here. Should be fairly good. Add that right there. We just have to fix a few things here. We can then easily extract the liquids like so. And obviously we want to connect to each of these pipes there. Time to ship in the materials. This is the first time we're gonna unload some lubricant. So we're gonna set this up right here. Lubricant for liquids, we always want to set this to 50,000. At least that's how I did it. Gonna copy this over, and of course I don't have trains for this yet, so we're gonna place 2 of them. Oh, liquid. Where's my liquid tank? Over here. We're gonna have to initially fill this up with a little bit of fuel, just to get those bastards started. Load lubricant, unload lubricant. We're gonna do a full cargo, empty cargo, or time passed for liquids. Not inactivity, I want time passed. We're then gonna copy this over and we can let those guys go. Just to be sure, I want to check with the lubricant. Yeah, we have the solid fuel here. And there is the lubricant train already. This should be filling up really quickly. Well, except we don't have enough lubricant right now. The machinery hopefully is gonna kick in. Actually, right now it doesn't do anything. That's not good. Oh, we're not using up the petroleum gas is the problem at the moment. This is actually fairly interesting. Maybe let's hook this up to some cabling, like so. And we're gonna say if this is full, then we want to use the petroleum for something else. We could use a couple of chemical plants. Let's just do, I don't know, 5. We're gonna tell this to use petroleum to make solid fuel, though this is also gonna be limited, right? I don't know if this is gonna be a good permanent solution, probably not. We then want to transport the materials over here into a storage chest that is only going to store solid fuel. We use some chill inserters to get those materials out, and then a faster one to get them inside of the storage chest. Now I think what we want to do is put a pump in between this. Do I have pumps with me? Yes indeed. So we put that right there, and then we want to hook it up to our cabling. And if I click on the pump, we can say enable disable if petroleum gas is, let's say higher than 90,000, probably because we can store 100k, right? Then we want to enable it, and it looks like it is enabled. So what happens if I put this to lower? Then it is disabled. Okay, so that is exactly what I wanted to see. Now the pump is only pumping when we already have enough petroleum, and therefore we're using it to make fuel. Now we should probably do something similar with the heavy oil. At the moment I'm not creating lubricant because heavy oil is also being used up here for the oil cracking. This pipe here is responsible for the heavy oil cracking, so all we have to do is disrupt it. Actually, let's see, this is also responsible for the lubricant. We should wait after the lubricant. So this is still for the lubricant. After this, we want to set up a pump, and it's going to go right here. This needs power. Now we want to connect our tanks. Let's see, can I just use... what should we do? I think what I could do is hook this up right over there, and then it's already hooked up basically. And we are gonna go over here and then to the pump. If we have enough lubricant, let's say above 90,000, then we wanna enable it. So right now it is disabled, and therefore we should be using everything up for the lubricant. Yeah, looks like this is working. Now we're only supplying the cracking if we actually have enough lubricant, and therefore we should be filling this up much quicker now. Alrighty, a lot of time has passed again. I'm not even sure how much, but we are running into power issues, so I had to react and build a bunch more solar panels. You can see still a lot of building processes ahead of us. This is the build for the low density structure, so most of the builds at this point follow the same structure. It's not worth showing it in detail all the time. I just want to keep you up to date. What else are we doing? Of course, we are doing the flying robot frame here. This build is actually almost done, just a couple of modules to go. For this one, I decided to bring in 2 lines, then divided it all up in order to feed to the correct spots. So it's not perfectly symmetrical, but it's a good enough of a solution. What else did we do? Yeah, we completed the engine units here. This is actually already kind of going for it and filling up the trains. And I believe with that out of the way, we have everything. Yeah, we already built the processing unit, so we can easily do the utility science packs now. Now, one thing I noticed is I'm kind of lacking the copper at the moment, so we need to build another copper smelting facility. I want to keep this kind of symmetrical with the smelting areas. Here's my secondary iron smelter. The cool thing about this system now is that we can just copy it over. Unfortunately, I had to improvise here a little bit, so this isn't kind of completed the way I wanted to. What we're gonna do now is just copy over the setup for the iron. So if I do this somewhat right, this is everything we need to copy. Wonderful. And then we want to line it up perfectly and bring it over here. And that's all we needed to do. Now, of course, I want to change the destinations here. So if I can, I already want to build all of these, and they should not be iron, but they should be copper. So let's go ahead, quickly change that before it's too late. And then we go upstairs. On the very top, we want to do the same thing, just change the station, and everything should still remain the same. This should be load copper. And now that we get this additional station of load copper, we should be able to set up 2 more trains for that material. I can just click the station, go to one of the trains that is stationary, check it out on the map. We're gonna copy it over, then paste it over here, and that should be everything. Of course, we want to give it some initial fuel so it can get started. And we want to get 2 of these trains going. Also, I noticed there is actually a trains menu, which is exactly doing what I wanted to do with the list previously. I'm so stupid. Good thing I actually discovered that. Here we can also see there are many trains. 75 and 180 stations so far. And then we want to make sure copper gets built as quickly as possible, because that is mostly the material I'm missing. Well, actually here we are also missing the iron ore. So maybe it is time to tap into yet another iron vein. If we go check this out, there are, look at that, 20 million. This is insanity. Yeah, we definitely have to go for that. However, after this, we're also ready to build another module. I'm gonna do this off camera for the utility science pack. Then we are gonna prepare ourselves to build the production science pack. If there's anything noteworthy, I'm gonna show it. Otherwise, we're gonna meet us back again when we can build the production science pack and therefore have almost completed all of the goals. I've been going over this design again, and I think I've got a little improvement. Previously, we had this set to above 50k or 90k even, because I wanted my lubricant to be filled up. However, this didn't really pan out that well because we ended up with having too much heavy oil that wasn't being used up. So I think instead what we should be doing is set up a bunch more tanks. I believe my Spidertron has some. So I'm gonna set up another set of tanks like so. We're then gonna continue the heavy oil pipe all the way into this one. There, I wanna remove all that ugly cabling right there. And instead we wanna hook up these guys. And then we're gonna tell this guy to react to heavy oil. So if the heavy oil exceeds a certain number, then we want to activate the pump. A certain number meaning around 90k, because that means we have too much heavy oil and the system is gonna get clogged up. So right now it is disabled and the focus is gonna be on the lubricant, and the heavy oil is only gonna pan in if we have too much of it in these tanks. Yeah, it's getting thinner. It's just using up the last bits and pieces here, and then it's gonna focus on lubricant only. Oh, I made a thinking mistake. Obviously, we cannot hook it up to this pipe. We need to hook it up before the pump. So let's get out of here, hop over once, maybe like so, and then we can get back. Yeah, I mean, it's a little wiggly, but it's good enough. Now it's actually filling up the tanks. And then once the tanks are filled up, it's gonna backlog into the lubricant machines. And that should hopefully be the end of the story. We'll see. In the meantime, I expanded a little bit into this direction to tap into another iron deposit. And other than that, it's looking pretty good. We're even crafting the modules at the moment. Look at that. The advanced circuit train just arrived. Yeah, this is exactly what I want to see. Beautiful. Okay, I checked out the timestamp for the save game and I decided I spent more than enough time on today's episode and it's a good wrapping up point. The next time we finally get to finish the science packs and then we can dive into the rocketry programs. But yeah, this is the current status. I made sure that we actually completed all the modules. Look at that. We have placed so many freaking modules. Maybe we can have a look at that in the production. If we check out the past 10 minutes or so, we have produced 60 speed modules 3. Not too bad. The past 10 hours, we have produced 2.2k. We actually used a lot. Jeez. Maybe having a look at the overall statistics. Where is it? Right there. 6.6k overall so far and we used them all up. Not too shabby. But yeah, I would say with that out of the way, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it and you're looking forward to the next episode. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.